ATP, what it do? It's your boy Clay. More rain. Back at you guys with another one. Man, shout out to all my subscribers. If this is your first time tapping into the content, of course, I'm going to go ahead and invite you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit your bell icons as well so you are getting alerts when all this content is dropping. So, look, guys, Riyadh season, guys, get used to it, right? At this point, get used to Riyadh season just being this regular blockbuster, huge card coordinating movement that if you're a boxing fan, you can get used to. And I always have to acknowledge the fact that I understand that there are a lot of people out here who just aren't on this particular wave, right? Look, everybody can't go. I'm going to always say that, and that's how it's always going to be. But look, there's obviously other platforms out there, other movements out there to tickle your boxing fancy. So look, boxing is doing well, right? It's moving on all gears, all cylinders in every direction. You have American boxing, you have this urban culture boxing, you have boxing for the casual fans, the Jake Pauls and things of that nature. You have world-class, world-level, world-stage boxing like what Riyadh season is doing. And, hopefully one day in a perfect world, world-class, world-stage, international championship boxing can merge comfortably with this urban culture boxing that's going on in a way that can please everybody, right? That being said, let's dive right into it, right? Fatal Fury in Times Square. We all are aware of the Fatal Fury going on in I guess I'm going to say somewhere in the UK with Conor Benn and Chris Eubank, or maybe it's in Riyadh. I'm not too sure, right? But at the end of the day, Ring Magazine, Turki Al-Sheikh, His Excellency, Riyadh season, this is all one entity, right? That you can look at that's making a movement in boxing. In this particular case, it's going to be a Ring Magazine event. Turki Al-Sheikh, once again, showing that he can do things that other people just can't do, will be hosting this actual event, which will be headlining, Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero, right? The undercard to this, which each one of them could be their own headliner, on their own right and on their own merit, right? Will be Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez. And of course, they've added, Ring Magazine's added, Teofimo Lopez will be defending his WBO title and Ring Magazine championship against Arnold Barboza Jr. Excellent fights, right? Who knows what the undercard is going to look like, but this is going to be in Times Square, lockdown for a limited studio audience, right? Maybe a couple of hundred people is what I'm hearing Turki Al-Sheikh is saying. So, to access this will be a pay-per-view event, and they're using the Fatal Fury concept, as Turki Al-Sheikh is always working on some creative way to roll out boxing and merge it with what he thinks will attract the casual fans. This is a video game, Fatal Fury. I guess that'll be coming out as well at some point in time, and they're using this as a theme for this fight. But regardless of how you want to look at it, there's some real fights happening on this card, and these fights having significance on each other, because as Turki Al-Sheikh has set this up, he's also setting it up for the winners of these fights to fight each other at some point, and almost like a tournament style situation when you look at it. But it's exciting because it gives these fighters vested interest on not only winning their fights, but also something to look forward to afterwards. 3 fight deals for these fighters, setting them up to be part of something bigger and help to usher in a new era of boxing, which is the best fighting the best, competitive boxing at its highest level, right? And also giving these fighters their highest paydays. So let's go down these fights and go down what happened at this rollout press conference that happened in New York today, right? As Turki Al-Sheikh was able to bring all these entities together, right? Golden Boy obviously involved in this as well, and putting these fights together. One of the first fights that we see headlining was going to be this Ryan Garcia, who's making a return after a year-long suspension, or from his last performance, if you guys are under a rock somewhere, against Devin Haney, where he beat Devin Haney, but a few days later, maybe a week or some change later, came out that he popped on a performance enhancement drug test. Ryan Garcia rolled out to making this fight, the press conference, the antics, all the different things that you saw him get involved in. from what he's saying in this press conference, self admitting it for himself, or admitting it to the fan base, that listen, he was dealing with smoking marijuana, drinking alcohol, didn't take the training camp seriously, didn't take boxing seriously, dealing with mental health issues, right? And listen, he's just embracing this. He's embracing the moment to speak honestly to the boxing space, that this wasn't a person that he wasn't necessarily as proud of as not being one of his best moments in his boxing career. Acknowledging the fact that it looked bad, but this is a new version of him. And I got to be honest with you guys and say that this is a new version of Ryan Garcia from my perspective, right? Very calm mannered, well articulate, taking his time to speak and not poke the bear. I always say that it seems like once these boxers start to get involved with Turki Al-Sheikh, that they start dropping all of the antics, dropping the image a little bit. They don't feel it so necessary to sell themselves as much anymore, because Turki Al-Sheikh is pretty much giving them their biggest paydays, right? And most of these fighters, when they jump into these bags, are doing it for what? Marketing reasons, marketing strategies, to get the fan base riled up, to get the biggest views, to get the biggest money, get the biggest gains, because they're trying to get their biggest paychecks, because a lot of their money comes off of the back end of these things being very successful. Well, here you have a whole different business model. When you look at it from outside looking in, it looks like it's not a lot of people. You hear about an event like this in the middle of Times Square with only a couple of hundred people going to be allowed in this space to see the fight. You got to ask yourself, where are they getting the money from, right? They're clearly not caring about the gate. Well, you got Turki Al-Sheikh, right? You got somebody representing the interests of a very wealthy country in Saudi Arabia, who have their own game plan and their own rollout as to how they see sports looking in the next few years. And they're investing a lot of money into it, and in turn helping these boxers get their biggest paydays, no longer worried about all the antics, now can just focus on their actual trajectory in the sport. And this is what I think you're seeing in Ryan Garcia right now. Actually a breath of fresh air to see him just take the sport a lot more serious. He gets an opportunity to go ahead and fight for his first title here against Rolly Romero. You guys familiar with Rolly Romero? You've seen him in fights with Tank Davis. You've seen him lose to Isak Pitbull Cruz. You've seen him have his little comeback fight a few months back against, I believe, Jaime Garcia or Garcia Jaime. Don't quote me, right? I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what his name is. No, Jane, it doesn't matter. He won the last fight. In my opinion, not that impressive, but this being his first fight coming in back off the suspension, Rolly Romero does have a name about him. He knows how to sell a fight. This guy is very entertaining at these press conferences, even though this press conference was a little bit more calm. Seemed like Rolly Romero was trying to match the energy of Ryan Garcia, but still a big puncher, big right hand, something to watch out for. This is a great fight for Ryan Garcia to go ahead and kind of get that stay busy fight almost, right? Let's gradually transition into this boxing game. Not to mention that Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero will both be debuting at 147 pounds, fighting for a WBA title, regular title in this fight. So this will be Ryan Garcia's first actual title fight in his career. It may sound crazy to some, right? But it is what it is. He gets an opportunity to become a champion, headline his first huge card under his strength of himself, not sharing the space like he did with, let's say, Devin Haney in his last fight, or even a Gervonta Tank Davis in a fight before. This really just off of his strength of who he is. And I think he's really paying a lot close attention to his image, and he's kind of trying to shake off that mentally unstable image and kind of show this mentally strong image, which I think is a great look for him. But this fight right here is a fight that he wants to win, needs to win, because next down the line after he wins this is going to be hopefully a rematch between Devin Haney and himself, right? But Devin Haney has his own hands full, as he's going to go ahead and leave 140 pounds as well. This, I think, will be a catch weight fight that he'll be having with Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez speaking towards the fact that his last fight against Arnold Barbosa Jr., that he really didn't like the results of that fight. And he puts a lot of it on the fact that he was making a lot of hard weight cuts. Sat at 140 pounds just a little too long. Feels like he's going to do a lot better at 147 pounds. A lot of people think Jose Ramirez may have one foot out the door. It does seem like he's been on a somewhat of a downward trajectory ever since he ever since he came over to Golden Boy, right? I mean, not to say that Golden Boy has anything to do with it, but his presence at Golden Boy and his performance since he's been at Golden Boy has been lackluster at times. Close fights that he had a fight that he won. I can't remember the opponent that he fought off the top of my head. Don't quote me, but I'm not even going to try to remember the fighter, but he won that fight, but it was a very lackluster performance. And then you've seen what he did against Honor Barboza. Competitive fight, but at the same time, really was just being outclassed by Honor Barboza. He's basically saying his punch resistance was down, that, his conditioning was in question because he cut so many corners to cut that weight and make it down to 140 pounds. Thinks he's going to be a way stronger fighter at 147 pounds. This is going to be a big fight for him, though, right? At the end of the day, this gives him a chance. If he gets a victory over a Devin Haney, this pretty much revitalizes, recharges his whole entire career. He gets to be in the conversation because although Devin Haney is the one who set up to go ahead and fight against Ryan Garcia, if he wins his fight, this is what the whole purpose of this is, right? Ryan Garcia is supposed to be defeating Rolly Romero. Devin Haney defeats Jose Ramirez. And of course, we get the big rematch, one of the biggest fights that can be put together right now, which is the big rematch between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. But by any chance, if either one of these guys lose the fight, you can say that both Rolly Romero and Jose Ramirez get an opportunity, if they can upset these fighters, get an opportunity to see bigger and better fights probably against each other, right? So, or vice versa. I mean, not vice versa, but if Jose Ramirez were to beat Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia were to go ahead and beat Rolly Romero, then maybe we might see Jose Ramirez and Ryan Garcia, right? Who knows? But that's the whole thing about this whole 3-fight deal and how Turkey plans on rolling this out. So Devin Haney makes his long return after being gone as well for about a year, had a child while the time went by. Took some time to deal with some things, lawsuits, all types of drama that he was involved with as far as being involved with the Ryan Garcia fight and the PED scandal and all these different things. Finally, he's going to make his return as well. He's decided to go ahead and leave 140 pounds as well, as he's also admitting that, I guess, the weight cuts were very aggressive for him. Now, some people don't agree with it. Me personally, if you look back in my archives of my videos, you'll see me saying that I didn't like the way Devin Haney looked in his last weight cut against Ryan Garcia. He had the raccoon eyes the day before. He really gave me a lot of 135-pound vibes when he was cutting that weight to go to Australia and fight against George Kambosos. He gave me that feel. Not as bad, but still something to be concerned about, because his punch resistance, in my opinion, did suffer. And I think that's why he was seeming to be a little punchy when he fought against Ryan Garcia in that fight. But not to make excuses, it is what it is. He himself has decided to go ahead and move up to 147 pounds, thinks he'll be stronger, way better weight cuts. I'm subscribing to that idea as well, but we never know, obviously, until they actually get in the ring, what it's going to be and what he looks like the day before when at the weigh-in, right? So it is what it is. It'll be at 140. I believe this fight right here will be a catch weight of maybe 143, 144 pounds with Jose Ramirez. He seems like he's gradually working his way up to 147, but ultimately preparing himself for the ultimate goal, which is to fight Ryan Garcia at 147 pounds on that sequel or second fight, to kind of like put it all to bed. Let's get some closure. Let's see who's really the best out of those two guys without any performance enhancement drugs, clean fighting, and let's see what's able to happen. That also, if Ryan Garcia is able to go ahead and win that fight with Rolly Romero, will be for a title as well, a WBA championship. So it becomes a very interesting fight at that point in time. Now, moving along from Jose Ramirez and Devin Haney, we have Teofimo Lopez, who's also become part of the Riyadh Season brand or Ring Magazine brand, who signed a 3-fight deal with Turki Al-Sheikh to also get involved in this conversation. Now, this fight that he'll be doing will be at 140 pounds. He'll be defending his WBO title. But as Teofimo always does in Teofimo's own custom way now, really choosing to embrace this idea of being a troll, or what I like to call the cringe. I think that kind of fits who he's become. Teofimo Lopez over the past couple of years has really dealt with an uphill battle of fighting against promoters and trying to get into the biggest fights possible, and really pushing a narrative out there, or a story, that he's basically the most undervalued, not promoted correctly fighter on the top ranked roster. And he's done everything antic wise to get out of this Top Rank deal, whether it be a fake retirement, whether it be legitimately going into tweet wars with Bob Arum, or throwing direct shots at Top Rank, or calling out for fights that are not even realistic between him and Terrence Crawford, or at the time him and Jerron Boots Ennis. He's done everything he can to keep all eyes on him, but at the same time, not necessarily making the biggest fights. Teofimo's last fight was against Steve Claggett, which was a fight that I thought was going to be stylistically a fight that he could really shine and show the explosive nature of his style. But honestly, since Teofimo's been at 140 pounds, one could question if his powers actually translated into the division the way he wanted it to, as he's been unable to stop anybody in the division, but had a few, as maybe the Josh Taylor fight. He had a very good fight there. Showed up and showed out in that fight, and ultimately kind of, for the most part, at 140 pounds, been looking kind of pedestrian, right? Looking very regular. Well, he looks to go ahead and move the needle on this fight right here as he defends his title against long upcoming contender in Arnold Barboza Jr., who's been really a number one guy at the WBO for a long time, right? I'd say for like the last 2.5+ years, maybe almost 3 years, been sitting there waiting on the opportunity to get his shot at a WBO title. Teofimo Lopez going through the things he's been going through, not looking to go ahead and honor mandatories, looking to make fights that might make him look good. He hasn't been doing that well. Jermaine Ortiz looked pedestrian. Steve Claggett made him look pedestrian. He just kind of looked regular in the division for the most part. But Arnold Barboza Jr. has earned his right a long time ago to fight for this title. At one point left the title, his interim WBO title, and came back again to get a fight recently. You guys might have saw him fight against Jack Catterall, was able to bring that fight together, get a victory in the backyard of Jack Catterall, and now as a WBO interim title holder, gets another chance to finally fight Teofimo Lopez. And he looks to upset him, obviously. Arnold Barboza looking to derail all the plans, and he wants to be in there. He wants to fight, the unify and maybe fight a Hitchinson and do things at 140 pounds. Teofimo, on the other hand, on his way out the door of 140 pounds, as he has plans on going up to 147 pounds to fight against Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney, either one, the winner of that fight. And even Turki Al-Sheikh's talked about him fighting against Jerron Boots Ennis at 147 pounds. So this fight right here seems to just be a stay busy fight for Teofimo. I mean, obviously, it looks like he wants to win the fight. I don't think he wants to lose the fight. But, I have a saying about guys who have one foot out the door. You should let the other foot follow. If you're leaving the division, then leave the division. Teofimo will have to cut weight, make weight, which I don't think will be difficult for him. He'll compete at 140 pounds to defend his WBO title. And Arnold Barboza, of course, focus on derailing him. Either way, all three of these fights seem to be great fights, great keep busy fights, tune-up fights, you can say, as these fighters are preparing for the biggest show, which is Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, and Teofimo either with Jerron Boots Ennis or, maybe even fighting the winner of Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia himself, right? Really exciting. All these guys look pretty decent at the press conference. I gotta say, the person who probably stood out the most, and maybe that's the whole game plan, is Teofimo Lopez. I don't know that he's shining for the right reasons right now, guys. I'll be honest with you. I think people are starting to kind of see him in a very juvenile way. He just seems to have a hard time to transition into him being a grown-up, right? The adult decisions that, the maturity that you want to see in these fighters. Some of these fighters just don't represent it, right? They don't come from that background. Nobody's ever held them to that standard. So they kind of move to the beat of their own drum. Teofimo seems to check the boxes as one of those people who do that. But either way, at the end of the day, he does seem to step up to when the challenges are there. When he goes into the ring and it's the best of the best standing in front of him, it seems to motivate him, and he seems to put the best of the best hat on his head, and he turns out to manifest real good boxing shows. So let's see what he does against Arnold Barboza Jr. A nice card, Fatal Fury in New York City in Times Square. I've never witnessed something like this before. I'm sure it's happened before. I'll be excited to see how this rolls out. Hopefully everybody's on point. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's doing what they need to do to prepare to bring the best versions of themselves. You guys let me know what you think at this point, though. It's on paper. It's inked out, ready to go. May 2nd, Fatal Fury in Times Square. We got Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, and Teofimo Lopez on this card. Ryan Garcia fighting Rolly Romero, Devin Haney fighting Jose Ramirez, and of course, Teofimo Lopez defending his WBO title against Arnold Barbosa Jr. Let me know what you think. Once again, shout out to all my subscribers, man. You guys are the best. You make it. You make this all worth it. We're growing so well. We finally hit that 2K mark. Couldn't do without you guys. Well past 2K, heading to 3K. Building the channel one subscriber at a time. If this is your first time tapping into the content, I am going to invite you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit your bell icon as well next to the subscribe button so you're getting alerts when content like this drop. Of course, we do our lives Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning, 10:45 a.m. Check out the morning show, boxing show that I put on with my co-host Ray Davis. And usually Tuesday evenings, Wednesday evenings, and Thursday evenings, I'm on there with Blue Blood Sports, where we're building on boxing over there. Tonight probably won't be on there. I got plans, but you can always catch us on, catch me Wednesday evening, Thursday evening with Blue Blood, and Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, and Thursday morning with my own show and co-host Ray Davis, who helps host that show with me. You guys tap in, man. Hit the subscribe button, and oh yeah, hit the like button. This is very important. I don't know, I haven't been telling you guys, but this is an important thing for the channel, right? Hit the like button. It helps the algorithm when we get the likes up. So if you like the content, show some love. You know what I mean? Feel free to throw some super chat, super stickers, super thanks, things of that nature as well. It's your boy Clay Rain. Listen, it was a blast. Until the next one, guys. At this point, we out.